Jam with Sam. Jam with Sam.
Okay, Rajan Raman is going to come up next over here and introduce our last speaker. Rajan. Yeah.
What I'm going to say is 100% certain. I have great pleasure in introducing Rohit Poddar, who is the Managing Director of Podar Developers and the Joint Managing Director of the Podar Group, which has interest in real estate development, organic farming, organic lifestyle brands, schools and hospitals. Rohit graduated from King's College, UK with a degree in civil engineering, business management and economics. Rohit has been nominated in the advisory board to NHB, National Housing Board, constructing affordable housing in Pan-India. Podar Developers is currently developing over 15 million square feet of affordable housing in and around Mumbai. Podar Housing has already constructed more than 3,500 apartments and around 2,000 customers have already taken possession. PDL's first affordable housing project, Samudri Complex, located at Bhivpuri, Karjat. The second project being Podar Evergreens, located at Badlapur. And the third affordable housing project at Podar Navjeevan, located at Atagod. This is amazing considering the amount of affordable housing they're building. The great philosophy of PDL Group is to construct homes for the middle and lower middle class with fair pricing and transparent style of operation, something which the whole of India needs. May I have great pleasure in introducing and presenting to all of you.
So how are you enjoying it so far?
Very good, actually. Really enjoyed hearing him speak and his experiences. Enjoying meeting new friends and some old friends.
Old friends, okay.
And also you.
And also me.
With your moustache.
With my moustache. I had it that time also when I come.
That was looking very distinguished.
I had it specially trimmed today. For the event.
Looking pretty trimmed.
Thank you, thank you.
I haven't shaved, so please forgive me.
That's okay. You know, we have Photoshop, so we'll take off all the stuff.
No, keep it as it is.
Keep it as it is, okay.
He said, no, be authentic and be honest.
Okay. So Rohit, tell us about the person behind the public persona. We have seen you in a public, and tell us something about yourself.
I'm not really public to him. So the private person is pretty much what you see. I'm pretty much a family person, like most of us here. Pretty driven to achieve. Pretty educated family, so I had to do pretty well in school and university also. I love sports. I do yoga every day.
Yeah, I know. So what makes you tick as a person and a profession? What drives you?
Interesting question. I think a drive comes from within. Each person has got their own sort of compass, moral compass that you basically have to live with. So I think my drive comes from my ancestors, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because the family's pretty old. They've accomplished quite a lot of things in the last how many ever generations. So you always have at the back of your mind what other members of the family have done over the last few 100 years in this case. So I've been pretty motivated from a young age to carry on the family legacy, to do something good for society and for yourself.
Okay.
So pretty social minded as a business person. But we sort of grew up with business and politics all around us, My mother's a philosophy professor. My father went to MIT. My sister's finished 3 masters.
Oh.
My wife's a doctor.
Okay.
So I'm actually the least educated person in the family. I only have an undergraduate. So I think a combination of these things actually.
Okay.
But I think family history has been the single most important factor.
Okay. Let's go through your journey. Tell us something about your education. We heard your education, your qualifications, your achievements.
Nothing special. If you come from in India, I've been involved with a few NGOs over the years. And the real achievers are people who don't have any kind of support system, It's very difficult getting into a good school and a good college here if you're not from a certain background.
Yes.
So I don't think I'm anything special. I was in Cathedral School in Bombay. Then I went to school in England for my O-levels and A-levels in Manchester. Then I was basically in Cambridge for my undergraduate. Worked in Goldman Sachs for a couple of years before I came back. But I mean, the real heroes are people who have to struggle. You know, you go to the villages in India, the competition is so severe to get into schools.
Yes.
I mean, the sheer numbers are, you know, extremely skewed against the person who wants to succeed. I mean, today, if your parents have money to give you an education, it's a lot easier. So I don't think my education accomplishments are anything great. If your parents can afford to send you to Cambridge and you work hard, you will get in. It's much more difficult getting into a VJTI or a IIT or any of the good colleges here because of the sheer numbers and the competition that you have to go through to get in. You see, I've got 3 children, so I can tell you, I mean, nutrition plays a very important part in your life. You know, nutrition, sleep. We take things for granted. I mean, I have a driver. Last year, I asked him, what do you want for the Diwali present? He said, Rohitji, I want an inverter. So I go, why? Because my family, I have 2 kids in the house and I don't have electricity for 6 hours in a day. So if they have an inverter, at least they can study for those 6 hours a day. So it's a very different mindset. The real India is a very different mindset than what we actually see, you know. So I feel very privileged to be in my position. And I think it's ridiculous to waste your privilege and frittering away the opportunity and not being serious about your life.
Absolutely. Let's get a bit personal. Tell us something about your support system, your family, your children.
Very strong support system. My parents have been married for, 45 years now. My mother is a very spiritual person. My father is a spiritual person. So very strong grounding in religion to begin with, but in my case also spirituality. I was exposed to meditation and yoga at a pretty young age, so I do meditation and yoga every day.
Wow.
I run every day.
Okay.
So almost about 2 hours of exercise and meditation, yoga and exercise on a daily basis. My wife's a clinical hypnotherapist and a regression specialist and a counselor. So I can't bullshit.
You can't push anything.
Zero bullshit.
Okay.
Because I get caught immediately. So I tried in the past when I got married. You know, Rohit, where are you? Yeah, I'm halfway home. Yeah, it's like, why am I hearing the computer in the background? So you're still at work. I'm just walking down the stairs now. You know, all those little white lies get caught very easily. And I think when you have your own kids also, it brings a lot of love into your life. So a lot of support from the family, even the extended family is very large in numbers, and they all, by and large, doing business. So pretty grounded.
How many kids do you have?
3 kids and a dog, so four kids.
Okay, 4 kids. And how old are they?
2 boys were 7.5 and 5.5, and we had a daughter 13 months back.
13 months.
The dogs are 8.5 years old.
Oh wow.
He's a golden retriever. So.
Okay, nice. What has contributed most in making you the person you are today?
I suppose my parents, you know. I think when you're young, you don't really know. I mean, they get you into a school because they happen to know certain people, or they can afford to pay for your education. They can afford to put food on the table. You sleep in an AC room. So you take those things for granted, but obviously those are not things for granted. So I think certainly my parents and now of course my wife.
Yeah. What does being an entrepreneur mean to you, and how did it happen? Of course, it's happened naturally, but you had an option of you were in Goldman Sachs for about 8 years. So what made you?
I didn't want to come back.
I
mean, I was, you know, when you're a student, you don't have any money.
Okay.
I mean, that's just how it goes. And then I got a job immediately after. I mean, I got a job in fact in my second last year in university. They offered me some crazy amount of money, that too in British pounds.
Okay.
So I was actually on 5 or 6 pounds a week in terms of how much I could spend. And they were paying me hundreds of pounds a week plus accommodation. So it all seemed very dreamy and unreal. And then all of a sudden, you could afford to buy a girl dinner. You take her out for a movie or something which you couldn't afford to do in college. So I was having a great time. I bought a car for myself. I was used to driving a Fiat over here with a stick shift. So I bought myself a BMW there.
Wow.
So that too on some 1.5%, 2% finance. So I had no intention of coming back. My grandfather got me back. He wasn't actually well.
Okay.
So I came back because I was pretty close to him. So that's the story.
So dad is part of the business? Your dad runs, original owner is your dad? Who runs the business?
Actually, my family have been very anti-real estate, to be honest with you.
Oh.
I mean, I started real estate for the family.
Okay.
They thought of it as like a black business with politician involvement and bribing and gundas and the underworld and things like this. So actually, the story of getting into real estate is quite interesting. I got into organic farming in '98, which when organic farming was not really an interesting business in India, because I was very keen to do a green textile business, which is our family background in one of our businesses. So in the process of turning our business green, I was in Jalgaon in northern Maharashtra, southern MP. And my Tauji had a NGO called the Murarka Foundation. And his CEO was a person called Mukesh Gupta, who was really the father of modern organic farming in India. But I spent, 6-7 years, 2-3 months a year in Jalgaon. And I really understood how land, the revenue actually works, and title, and how ancestral land is passed from grandfather to son to existing, and how the fragmentation of land takes place, and how, which is why we don't have high productivity in agriculture in this country. And then, so I already knew land pretty well. But then when I got married, my father was actually running my father is Rahul Bajaj's first cousin.
Okay.
So they promoted a finance company back in '86, which is how we know Mr. Patki, by the way.
Oh, that's a secret.
He used to actually work for my father's old company.
Okay.
So basically, my father was staying in his cousin's house for 20 years. True Marwadi, not paying for a hotel. So my mother said that you can't continue living in your cousin's house. We should get a second home. So they decided on a 2 crore budget in 2002, which seemed like a lot of money for a second home. And I just got married. And my mother-in-law lived in partly between Alibag and partly between Bombay. So we were just talking over dinner, saying, this is the budget. So she said, you've got to be crazy to spend that kind of money on a second home, buy some land. We said, listen, we can't afford to buy land in Alibag. The price is very expensive. So she said, no, you can get land at a very inexpensive price. We'll show you. So in 2003, I started looking at land in Alibag to buy for my father. And I realized that there was a big arbitrage between basically buying agricultural land and converting it to end use, and then getting water, electricity, utilities, and so on and so forth. So I said, this is a good business. I mean, the textile business and tire business was, you invest hundreds of crores of rupees, you may make 2-3% margin, that too in a good year. Then some labor officer, someone will come and tell you, some bhai will come and say, I'm the new labor union head, pay me all this money. It's a very difficult business. And here the margins were obscene. So I asked my father in 2005, can you lend me some money? And I want to aggregate land and sell it. He said, you're crazy, aise thodi hota hai. It sounds too easy to be true, all this rubbish. So I convinced him with some data. So anyway, he gave me some money in 2005. And I started buying agricultural land in Karjat and in Alibag, where my mother-in-law had these contacts. And as luck would have it, Press Note 2 got announced. And by 2007, I already aggregated a few 100 acres of land, or contiguous land. And people started coming to me saying, I want to buy a land parcel. Because I was working in England, I knew what title insurance meant. So on our first piece of land that we bought in Karjat, we got 360 acres of land. Oh. We were the first company to get title insurance from Lloyd's of England, which meant a big deal, because if a fund's going to be investing money in your land, title is the major issue. So this Greg Norman consortium with Macquarie Bank paid us some obscene amount of money to buy out that piece of land. My father was ecstatic, saying, "Arey wah, tu acha kaam kiya finally." So that became the driver for basically exit and me paying my father back money with interest. I was left with quite a lot of money after that. Then I had a friend of mine called Ashish Karamchandani, who's working in a group called the Monitor Group, which is the Michael Lee Porter consultancy firm, global, but they're in India operation also. And they just finished a study with the National Housing Bank on affordable housing and low-cost housing in India in 2007-2008. And they're pretty straightforward and honest people. And there's no reason for them to fudge facts. And they came up with a study saying there's 18.57 million household shortage in one particular category of housing. And if you add up the economically weaker section and the low income group, there's some 25 million household shortage in 2007, which is an enormous amount of shortage. And he said, listen, Rohit, you should do this because you have a manufacturing background, you're a civil engineer, you have a social bent of mind, why don't you look at this sector? I said, pagal to nahi ho gaya, I'm making money on buying and selling land, kaun karega sab magajmari? So then we did research for another 1 year, and then we decided to do a pilot project. And the view was that the shortage even today, because the total you'll be shocked to know this statistic, the 25 million household shortage in India.
25 million?
Yeah, units.
Okay.
Out of this, last year, India built 30,000 units in the whole year. Okay, in this particular category, it's a joke. I mean, our construction technology is also pretty awful, including our own. It's like pretty Stone Age kind of construction technology. But I mean, it's like a joke how these millions of people don't have houses. So we said that okay, fine, if this is a business for the future, let's find the worst possible location in Bombay where we can launch this project. So we found a little village called Bhivpuri, which is on the central line right before Karjat. And it had no pakka houses at all, and no one had ever done a project there in history in 5,000 years. And all sorts of local issues, no water, no electricity, no access, nobody would even think of going and living there. So we did a 10-acre project of some 1,200, 1,300 houses. And much to our surprise, to support the data, the houses got sold in a very fast amount of time. And of course, we made a lot of mistakes in that project, I mean, from the construction technology that we used, to the kind of materials that we used, to the master planning that we did, to the kind of utilities that we used, to how quickly we sold our inventory, to our customer relationship management. You know what I mean? Everything was a disaster. But we learned from that, from our mistakes, I think. And unlike other people who run away and don't fulfill their goals, I mean, I'm very clear. I'm not a scamster, and I don't want to ever be one. So we basically stuck it out and spent money again and again and again on fixing the problems. And we did a lot of learning basically from that project. And then when we started Badlapur as a second project, which was about a year later, we had quite a lot of experience in what not to do. Not entirely, but we moved along, quite a lot in what not to do. So right from the concept of the project to the master planning to the way we wanted the customer experience to be, it was much different. Of course, we made mistakes there also, but we're now in our fourth year. We just started our fourth year, so mistakes have been made again, but a lot fewer than we made before. Yeah, probably about 5% of the mistakes we made before. And then we're learning every day as we go. Our customers surprise us. When we sold the project in Bhivpuri, we had guys from Navy Nagar coming to buy, waiters from the Willingdon Club, Bombay Gym, CCI, Car Gym, to basically street hawkers, massage walas, and then college professors, because you have in Karjat an education hub. So we really had a massive cross-section of society. And it just goes to prove that there's such a shortage of this product in the market that people are willing to leave Navy Nagar and come and live in a place which is literally 2 hours away by train. And it's a pity that the government of India has miserably failed in actually providing housing, because if you look at the other countries of the world which are in the same development cycle as we are, take for example the BRIC countries, affordable housing in these countries is always a PPP. And the government is a significant stakeholder in these projects. And we have actually found in our case that it's been the antithesis of this development model. The government's been completely unhelpful in every possible way, shape or form. We've had to fight with local politicians, local gundas, local vested interests, sand suppliers, all trying to make a fast buck on our account. And it's been a massive learning that you can do something from your heart, which is a socially useful business, and yet none of the people that you expect to support you actually support you. But you still deliver to the customer, right? Because the customer hasn't put a gun to your head saying, sell me the product at this price.
Right.
So you got to deliver.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of learning.
What do you consider as your biggest strength?
Being a highly positive-minded person.
Okay. That comes from yoga and...
No, I think I've been a positive-minded person because of my parents.
Yeah. Whom do you idolize and why?
Very difficult to say, I don't think I idolize any one person. I mean, I idolize God to begin with because of the fact that, we are children of God. I suppose I idolize people whose practice I idolize BKS Iyengar because I do Iyengar yoga. There's a person who wrote a book called Born to Run, which it's a great book. I idolize a lot of the Indian philosophers of the past, Swami Vivekananda, Paramhans, Lord Krishna. I mean, the list is endless. J.R.D. Tata, Jamshed Godrej, Rahul Bajaj. I can name you 3 people from Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Gandhiji to some degree.
Okay. Share it as your passions. What do you do when you're not running your business?
Yoga, meditation, running, spending time with my kids, playing sports,
Okay.
reading books.
Which sports do you play?
Pretty much all of them. I love
Okay,
sports.
okay.
I play tennis, squash, badminton, golf,
Oh, wow.
but very in small quantities.
Not cricket, no?
I used to play cricket in school, but I mean, I don't have a whole day to play cricket.
So we can have one cricket match, Jam with Sam cricket match, They're all specialists over here. Okay, small rapid fire round. Happiness,
Family life.
money,
Give back to society.
life,
Experience.
dreams,
To have 100,000 houses in development in 2 years.
India,
The best nation on earth.
networking,
Very essential.
very essential. Okay. Share with us a really crazy dream or aspiration you have.
Having building
Building
100,000 houses in 2
Okay,
years.
fine. Take care. If not this business, then what?
If not this business, then probably some NGO.
NGO?
Yeah.
And what do you hate, dislike? You just can't stand it.
Anyone who breaks their jaban.
Breaks the jaman. I think that's common between everybody nowadays. One lesson life has taught you
To accept life.
to accept life. Okay. A message to the entrepreneurs out here.
I don't think I have any message for them at all. I mean, each one of us has our own journey, from our own experiences and basically from our own circumstances. So I think it's important not to judge other people, to be honest with you. I think you should definitely you should like what you do, you should follow your dreams. You should be sincere to your calling, work hard, be very optimistic, and I think look forward to life.
Absolutely. One thing you would like to change about yourself.
I am actually fearful of heights.
Okay.
And I think having fear is a very bad way of living life. So I actually tried very hard to get over my fear of heights. Probably about 80% there,
Okay.
but 20% still left.
Still there.
Yeah.
Like it's fear of building heights, skydiving or anything?
No,
like
actually, I'll tell you, when we'd gone for the bicentennial of the French of France in 1989 with my parents, and we'd gone to the Eiffel Tower. And it's a very strange structure because it's actually a trellis. And you can actually look through the trellis. It doesn't have it's not like a Pakka foundation, right? Like an RCC foundation. So I actually shat bricks because I could literally see 1,000 feet below me. And all of a sudden I felt very unsafe because I thought I could actually fall
through that.
And unfortunately that James Bond movie, A View to a Kill, had just come out. And someone had jumped off that, and I remember that person jumping off that Eiffel Tower, right? And all of us, I actually remember that the time I actually got the fear of heights, which is that particular instant.
Okay.
So if I'm actually on a solid floor where I can't see through, I'm fine. But I went to I was actually in Toronto with my kids in summer, and in the CN Tower, which is a magnificent, I mean, it's a great work of civil engineering. There's actually a viewing deck, which has actually got, see-through material on the top. So I went and sat over there for 10 minutes because I had to get over my fear of heights. So I was literally actually, my hands were very moist for the first few minutes. Heartbeat was, when you meditate, you can feel your heartbeat rise. But then after 7 or 8 minutes, it actually became less. But still, when I got up from there to leave, I still felt a little bit nervous.
Okay. I have the same fear, don't worry. In your view, how important is networking?
It's important. I mean, in our business, to be honest with you, I've realized, because capital is always at a shortage. Because as you grow, you want to do more and more projects. You have to buy land, of course, which is very capital intensive. You have to build, relationships. Either you, for example, Tata Housing is an asset-light model, and because of the Tatas, people are willing to trust them with their land to do joint developments. So if you don't have to build a reputation and a brand for yourself, you have to basically network, and the value of that brand is enormous. And it's very difficult not to have strong PR, not to have strong networking, and basically build a strong brand. I think it's virtually impossible.
How much is networking offline and online, like social media, help you in enhancing your business?
I suck at online. I'm absolutely terrible. I'm actually on Facebook now because I don't never wish my friends happy birthday.
Okay.
So actually, I made it a point now to go on Facebook every day for 2 minutes just to wish them happy birthday. But you know from your experiences with me, I haven't actually liked my own Poddar Housing page. So I'm actually terrible at it. It's not a good thing at all. It's something that we need to change, basically in the way we approach social networking. But I mean, the world's online. You know, whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is, everyone's on that medium. People having conversations on that. So it's a very important, way forward. And the average age of India now is becoming younger and younger.
That's true.
You know, your mobile phones become your connection to the internet.
Absolutely.
So it's silly to ignore what's obvious.
Right. So what we do is, like, once this interview is up over there, within about 2 or 3 months, based on number of views, somebody searches for you online. The first thing which will pop up is this interview.
Oh, that's terrible. Should have bought better clothes and
No, that's okay. Okay, one thing you already said that. If you had an option to be in your next life, these are a couple of options, you might have heard them. Hitler, Mother Teresa, Paul Coelho, Jack Welch, Bill Gates, Amitabh Bachchan or Sharad Pawar.
See, basically God doesn't let us decide who we're going to be in our next life. So I don't want to be any of these. I'm quite happy with whatever.
You're reborn as yourself?
No, not born as myself.
Whatever God wants.
There'll be some other experience, I'm sure.
Okay.
So I'm very happy with whatever experience God sent my way.
Fantastic. So how has been your experience on Jam with Sam so far? This is the first
Quite
time
fun
you
actually. I'm really enjoying meeting everybody here. So I'll be here for the next Jam with Sam as a commitment.
Sure.
So I look forward to that.
Fantastic. And just wanted to share, like, have you got any business out of Jam with Sam?
Business?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't come here to get business.
No. I mean, in the past, I did Mr. Patki. We discussed that day over there just to share the experience over there.
What do you mean, networking with the BNI members?
Yeah.
Oh, BNI in general?
Yes.
Yeah, I think BNI is fantastic. I mean, I think more than the business, it's actually the quality of people that we've actually met. And they actually have very, very good people from their fields. I mean, we met through Pritesh. Hi, Pritesh. He's actually been instrumental in introducing us to probably about 70 or 80 BNI members. And I think more than the business has actually been the learning from them, in terms of what they bring to the table.
Correct.
And you really have very, very good, strong brands as BNI members, right? So, I mean, I think it's very good for your business to have. I mean, in our business, we decided very clearly, because a person's a lower middle class person, he doesn't have any less right as a citizen of India to live a very comfortable life. So we want to basically give a very high quality of experience to the customer, at a very attractive price with low monthly maintenance, and build infrastructure that lasts a period of time, not shoddy infrastructure. Otherwise, your maintenance goes up. And we've actually found that, these people, say typically speaking between 15 and 35,000 rupees a month in combined household income, they don't have the recourse to get things in the house fixed, right? So we decided that we need to have certain level of fit outs in the apartment where there's no hassle of getting it fixed. So we started going to national brands. So for example, we use Panasonic light switches or release steel sinks or certain kind of, we use Godrej, door handles and locks now. Because we want the customer to be able to get service if anything goes wrong.
Absolutely.
And a customer and the company has to be something to lose if they don't service that customer, right? And basically it's always a question of fast, what's available in the market quickly and what's next to you. And these the national brands because of the fact that they have the distribution and the reach and the quality to be able to service that customer, within a short time frame. But also as a developer, if we put pressure on that particular brand to fix the problem with the customer, I call it a vendor of convenience. You as a developer, we should be a vendor of convenience to the customer.
Absolutely.
So that he has a hassle-free experience after he buys his flat, not just in buying it, but after he occupies the flat. And a lot of the BNI members have companies that have brands of this nature, and many of them now are doing business with us.
Yes.
And as a consequence of that, our level of service to the customer has increased. And we hope in the future to partner with more and more people from BNI to basically enhance our customers' experience and be a good vendor to them. And just to tell you your point, we actually pride ourselves in the fact that we pay our contractors on time. It's actually a part of my DNA.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think you will find. I would go to the extent of saying we're probably the best paymasters today by far in Bombay. but amongst the best paymasters in India. And I tell you why I'm telling you this. Because of my National Housing Bank job, I'm on the advisory board. I've gone and met 8 different chief ministers of 8 different states in the last 1.5 years. Because I actually wrote the Rajiv Awas Yojana scheme that's been tabled in Parliament now. And I can tell you, I've met hundreds of small developers across India, and I've analyzed their business practices, because in the affordable housing sector, a Hiranandani or a Lodha has no interest in coming into the sector. It's a small and medium-sized developer who's being proactive and basically seeing an opportunity to basically make his business flourish. And these are the guys who are actually giving inventory in this market, right? And those are the guys who actually have ethics. And they actually are the much better paymasters than the Hiranandanis and the Rahejas and the Lodhas of the world. So I feel in India, the smaller the guy, the higher the ethic. Yes. And the bigger the guy, the bigger the chore. Starting with the government of India. And you can put me on the net and I'll say it again and again, right? So the fact of the matter is this, that if you want to basically build a brand, that's a long-term brand, like for example the Tatas, right? You have to deliver quality, you have to deliver value, but you also have to be ethical and transparent over a period of time. And unless you do that, you have no hope in hell of building a sustainable brand for the future. There have been so many studies in the last few years about how the stakeholders in your business are not just you, but the people around you. Yeah. So if you are buying land from a farmer, he's now a stakeholder in my business. If I have villagers living around my projects, they're stakeholders in my project too. The environment is a stakeholder, and your ethics are a stakeholder as well. And I think if you are mindful of these stakeholders, you will get a premium in your business in a very short amount of time. You know, we don't have the experience, sir, that you have, of being in business for this long. But I'll give a very interesting statistic. There's a builder in Badlapur called Panvelkar, who literally probably built half of Badlapur. He's been there for 40 years. We are just on the outskirts of the municipal limit of Badlapur. So our buildings are ground plus 3. His buildings are ground plus 7 with a lift. He has municipal water and municipal bijli. Yet, we are 20% higher than him in price today. And we are over 50% of the Badlapur registration, all of it. Why? Because we are transparent in our dealings. We put everything on the net. I think we're the first developer in Bombay to put all our approvals online. Our environmental clearances are online as a link. Our MSCB clearances are online. Our MPCB clearances are online. Whatever is, if you call up any of our call center or marketing offices on different sides of the office, you get the same price to the nearest Naya Paisa, including the same breakup. The carpet area is clearly mentioned, the built-up area is clearly mentioned, the saleable area is clearly mentioned. And I personally think, as a developer, there's big margin in the business, at least compared to the business that we were in. So why do chori? Why do you want to sell hot air on the 75th floor when the plan not approved? Why do you want to sell half your area as a refuse area? It's totally ridiculous. It's sheer greed. And the fact that you believe you can actually steal from the customer's pocket on a daily basis, and there's absolutely no recourse for the customer. I don't understand how you can have a business after 64 years, no regulator. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I think in any business you should have strong regulators, you should have ethical practices. And if someone's not watching you, you know what they say? Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it's a statement of fact. I have friends of mine from when I was young who become big politicians in India now. And it's very sad, the people that they become as human beings. So checks and balances are very important. And I think the more democratic you become in terms of your offering to the customer, the better for your business in the long run. So I am actually long-term greedy and short-term stupid. I don't want to make a short-term buck. I want to be 20-30 year greedy and not 2-3 month greedy. And I mean, I think it's a totally zero-sum game. This is my view.
Fantastic, Rohit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm going to put this on my table.
Thank you. And this also BNI.
Thank you very much. Also BNI person?
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.